Hi, my name is John Raftery, and I'm here today to film and document my final assignment for the history class coming to America for the fall 2018 class. The section is GEO 130 star 0015. Fortunately for me, I'm a first generation Irish America person. My parents, both of them, were immigrants from Ireland, so the class has been particularly interesting for me to learn about different areas and misconceptions I had. Earlier in the semester, I was able to interview my mother, who'd been struck by a car and almost killed in the summer in July. She came out of the hospital and was still in good shape that she could hold an interview down with myself about her experience being an immigrant from Ireland in the United States. Unfortunately, prior to scheduling an interview with her, she took a turn for the worst and will not be able to participate in this interview or discussion of my family's immigration history. In place of that, however, I have my sister here. We'll be discussing as a family some of the research I did and some of the factual knowledge she has from actually traveling to Ireland and abroad in her past. And hopefully it'll make for an interesting summary of what we learned in the course and the book as well, Coming to America through Daniel's teachings. So I'd like to begin with the summary information that I initially interviewed my mother with over the course direction. My mother was a Irish immigrant, as I've stated earlier, that had left Ireland shortly after World War II. And during my interview with her, she explained that it was severe poverty and conditions as such could be expected after World War in Ireland. There were no jobs, and she specifically stated that the Irish people and her parents and relatives did not frown upon them traveling to the United States for a better experience or better life. They encouraged it. At that time, the primary mode of transportation were steamships, cruise ships to the United States, hence the saying off the boat. My mother actually came over on a Cunard line vessel, which she saved up enough money working in a store in England, making sandwiches to pay for the fare on the boat. Like similar immigrants' journeys, as described by Daniels, she had family that had already come over to the United States and were successfully holding jobs. So she was a classic chain family immigrant story where the family pre-existed in New York, and it was easier for to make accommodations coming out. When she arrived in the United States in her 20s, many Irish female immigrants at that age, they took jobs as waitress, home care workers. In particular, my mother worked on Wall Street at a restaurant that's long gone called Schraff's. She was welcomed by her brother here, who was holding down a good job at a company. And at the time, like I said, there were many Irish immigrants that were looking out for each other and taking care of each other. They were expected, like other cultures, that they would send money home. I'd ask my mother in particular, did she experience any hardships or discrimination that other cultures experienced in the history of the United States during periods of immigration? And she said in her time, she never was aware of or experienced any personally. And I'd seen some of the prior discrimination against Irish in earlier decades where no Irish wanted to apply. But by the time my mother arrived, I think those days had long passed. And there was just an expectation of them that they would work and work hard. And they had no real intent of ever returning to Ireland. It was sort of in their mind a one-way trip that they would come to this country and succeed. My father, for example, who's deceased, he came over also from Ireland from a different part. And at the time, to become a citizen, you had to have served in the military. So my father served in the military to get his citizenship. And when my mother married him, as a result, there was a process from Chapter 13. We were learned about naturalization and how long it took for that. And that's how she became a citizen. During my research, going back online with some of the ancestry sites, I actually found something, and I still need to verify it, that one of my great, 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 great grandfathers perhaps may have stolen some sheep, and as a result was taken to a penal colony in Australia, and at some point returned back to Ireland. So I'm actually working beyond this class to track down some of that history. But the other history I found in my family, and my sister had traveled to Ireland before, like I said earlier, and I've also traveled to a family graveyard out there, was that my mother's family had come over from originally from Scotland, and I had originally believed that to be in the 1500s because of graves that were very clear to read because the weather in Ireland is very stable. However, having a discussion with my sister, she pointed out, as she had more information from traveling there more times than myself and talking with my mother, that in fact it was not the 1500s. That was another segment of our family. However, the distinction being that the people that came from our family, from my mother's side, could actually read and write. They were literate, where during those years, most of the Irish in that part of the country, in Western Ireland, did not have the ability to read or write. And this is evidenced by letters from that period in time. And that's pretty much where my immigration history stops. I have a dog over here playing with me. So I'm proud to say that we have family from Scotland, and I'm looking forward, from what I've learned in this class, to maybe doing more research. It sparked a fire in me that I had not ever thought about. So it's a very interesting topic. I've enjoyed the class very well, and I've enjoyed everything that I've learned in there, and have gotten a greater curiosity out of it, and I'm a better person at the end of the day. Thank you.